Good morning, Maing Buntag, mga kaigsunan. Welcome to our new segment on Sugboanon Channel nga atong gitawag og Patigayon Sugbo. The concept of this program is we touch on the economy, business, industry, investments, as well as infrastructure, and also entrepreneurship, livelihood, active citizenship, and developments that are relevant to the constituents and stakeholders of Cebu City. And niining atong maiden cast sa atong programa nga Patigayon Sugbo, we are very honored that we have with us no less than the president of Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, no less than President Kenneth Co, who is also the president of Cebu Steel Corporation. Tama, no? May we have your opening statement, President Ken?
Good morning, to our viewers, and it's also my honor to have been invited for this maiden broadcast. It's good to be able to talk to our viewers today. There are a lot of views that I hope that I can share, and hopefully also inspire our would-be entrepreneurs and businessmen in Cebu to also explore the opportunities that will be that are available in 2024.
Okay, I call Kenneth Co as Press Ken because I myself is a member of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Press Ken, we've been through a lot, no? From a long standstill during the pandemic, pang-tweeted pa yun sa nga na katong Super Typhoon Odette that at the time when we have just restarted, no? How would you describe those dark moments from the point of view ninyo sa commerce and industry?
That was really something very unexpected, and it also warms my heart in how the Cebuanos responded to such a crisis. A lot of business people chose to support their employees even though there was no business at the time, even with the lockdown. So there were very few layoffs, considering the impact of the pandemic, and even fewer still that had to close down. Most businesses, I guess, have also recovered.
Okay.
And even with the Typhoon Odette, you can also see the Bayanihan spirit very alive in the Cebuanos. You see people preparing water and pack meals for those who are in need.
Okay. Which sector man ato during that time of the butangtag murag the dark ages of Cebu City nga ni prevail or were able to rode through the crisis?
Of course, it's the essentials, no? Among the industries that were prioritized to be able to support the survival of our constituents. It's really to keep the transport sector going, and also the food sector, and also online was a big winner.
Mo gyud ang karon ng mga tao tapulan na. Mo-order na lang, no?
I wouldn't say tapulan. Pero bright ang mga tao. Okay? They would already find the convenience,
yes,
and techie pod. Yeah. Even the mga Gen X have already learned to use the online ordering.
And even at the point of sale, kinta sa mga cashiers like me, di na kay ko magdag cash. I just use GCash.
Yes.
And Pres Ken, tungod atong mga changes nga na-experience sa atong business community, unsay mga tact, no, nga among businessmen and also in terms of consumer behavior nga nagpadayon sukad atong panahon na hangtod karon nga na-expand pa gani?
It was a turning point for businesses who have been trying to create an online market for their own businesses, and so I think that really accelerated. I guess that has continued on, even although not we could a lot of the comments are even Lazada now has also been laying off people, no? Because I guess from the peak of the pandemic, there's some slowdown already. Because as
Abot
people,
ang saturation.
no, or not saturation, but I think the lifestyle, no? Because people have been cooped up in their home for the past 2 years. So people want to go out, create connections, be social again.
Yeah.
So that's why nabuhi na po balik atong mga dining and entertainment and also our tourism because people want to go out na sad.
Palahita, Press Ken, because apparently you belong to the Filipino-Chinese community, no? Maghisigot ta karon kay murag next month we will be greeting each other kung hey Fachoy.
Yes.
We're in the year of the wood dragon.
Okay.
Unsa may mga tinuhuan sa mga Filipino-Chinese nga ma-expect nato karong 2024 nga the dragon year.
Yeah. Well, although I'm Filipino-Chinese, I'm not the expert in mga feng shui, no? But,
Okay.
From what I know, wood dragon are two elements. So let's talk about the dragon first.
Okay.
That's I think the main thing is the year of the dragon.
Yeah.
And the dragon among all the different zodiac animals is one of the kanang mythical beasts who's very fairy tale siya,
it exudes power,
yes,
strength.
yes. And so because of this, the dragon presents opportunities, no, for 2024.
So daghan nga tapuhon nga mga opportunities karon tuiga.
Yes. And the nice thing now that this dragon is paired with wood instead of fire or something else. No. Okay. The wood element is I would say wood is all more of kanang earthy, and so it would be more of a calm dragon rather than a fierce na beast.
Okay.
So I think in terms of kaning being a wood dragon year, it would be more of a good opportunity.
Burag, tingali those in the construction industry who use wood would see it as a hopeful year.
Yes.
Okay, before looking ahead this year, Frescan, have we fully recovered na ba yun from the crisis and brought by the pandemic? And Odette, unsa may feedback sa various sectors nato sa mga members sa chamber?
There are different challenges now, no, after the pandemic, because we still have two wars going on. No, so there's the Ukraine war and the war with Israel
in Gaza.
Yes, and so we hope that this war will be settled soon and it won't spread further. And another issue is inflation.
Naban epekto sa atong export industry, for example?
It had a big impact on the world economy.
Okay.
Because resources has been diverted, and also it had caused Ukraine and Russia being a big agricultural producers, affected fertilizers and food production. That's the main reason why we're suffering from food inflation right now.
Okay.
Because of the limited production of wheat and fertilizer from these two areas.
There seems to be tensions at gani sa atong just behind our backyard, the South China Sea. Just I think yesterday China was telling the US, "I mog apil diri ha."
Well,
is this a concern?
Well, I hope this is just posturing, no. I don't think the Philippines is out to fight with China or China is out to get. I guess China is also just trying to project its territorial.
Anyway, that's geopolitics already, President Ken.
So, but hopefully that won't trigger something bigger.
Anyway, unsa may sector karon nga kanang vibrant na and has more to expect this year?
Luckily, BPOs, no? The Philippines has been a very strong BPO player ever since, even during the pandemic. And so we've heard from various real estate news that this sector is still coming on. Although it affects the property sector a bit differently because of the hybrid work. So, but in terms of job opportunities, it's still a lot of opportunities for, especially for the young and skilled na workforce.
But unsa may sector nato nga struggling pa?
Well, struggling, I wouldn't say there's still any sector that's struggling because our economy, the Philippine economy, has grown by 5%. So pretty much most of it have recovered. Although there will be I belong to the construction sector, so we felt the slowdown because we're coming off from a very high base of the build program of Duterte, and now the President BBM has a different direction, which is more of also bringing in investments and improving our agriculture base also.
Okay. I see from you nga bullish ang atong business sector, but however na ay hadlang, no? Like just today we read from the papers that Bank of Philippine Islands projects a 3% inflation rate, no? And probably an elevated interest rates. Unsa man nato pag-maneuver ani with this reality now?
Well,
apparently an effect of the global crisis.
Well, 3% inflation is much lower than the 6 to 8 that we've experienced in 2023. No? So I've heard also Tessie Coson also being very since the SM group is also in the very exposed in the consumer group, so they're also concerned about inflation if it will come back in 2024. But as long as there are no major interruptions in the supply chain, I believe that inflation will be lower than it was before. Ang kanilang interest rates also, we're also hopeful because I think even the US economy has also experienced slowdown. So I believe that the Fed would be more likely to pause their increases in interest rates.
Okay, let's look at the various individual sectors sa atong business community. Let's look at trading, the retail industry. Kumusta naman sila karon and onwards in 2024?
I think trading, talking about trading, it's reports initially coming from our ports, no? Ang atong volume of imports has been slowing down actually, or even and also even our exports going out has also a bit declined. That's mainly because of the world economy also. But consumer spending is still believed to be strong because we have a growing population. That's one thing that's been That's one thing that's unique about the Philippines compared to other. Singapore is only growing by 1-2%, and but while we are doing 4-5%, which is much better than how Singapore is growing.
That's good news. How about mga services, ganing mga delivery service, massage, and the others in the service sector?
I think the services sector may everyone feels the pinch of inflation, no? Kung atong savings has been dwindling because we have to spend more for basic essentials. So ang kanina discretionary spending will be a bit limited, but still it presents opportunity for those who offer really good value and a very unique experience. As we can see in social media, it's full of posts na mga people going out for new experiences. I think that's one thing that the business people should look at na to provide something unique to their customers so that they can grab more share of the wallet.
How about sa mga kananan, murag mga kananan no, pirmi man puno.
Yes, yes, yes.
Muna ang sector karon nga kining very vibrant.
Yes.
How about hotels and resorts? Tourism was very much affected. How's the domestic migration and murag tourist influx sa atong mga hotels?
I've seen the reports from our sister association, the hotel and resorts. No, they've said that the domestic tourism has been doing very good. No? And it's our foreign tourism that needs, although it's increased, but when we compare it with our ASEAN neighbors,
pre-pandemic,
yes, it's still almost close, very close na. But when you look at the growth in other our ASEAN neighbors, it's much higher. No, so it means we need to review our strategies, especially when it comes to, because each country is trying to entice foreign tourists as much as possible. Because when the foreign tourist comes, they actually spend more than the local tourists. So that's why it's a very good investment to bring in as much foreign tourists as possible. So making it. Currently, we have challenges with implementation of our e-visas. I know we've been in talks with our government agencies. So I think once this can be implemented, we hope to be able to have our fair share of foreign tourists are coming to the Philippines.
Okay, how about sa property development, whether horizontal or vertical? How is it doing now, and what do we see ahead in 2024?
That I would think there's a bit of a pause there in this category, mainly also being affected by inflation, especially for the C&D market, because it's about savings also. If you don't have the savings, then you cannot invest. So it's more of an investment. So I also read reports coming from the developers that the medium market is still doing strong. We still have a housing backlog, and so families are growing. When they get married, they still have to.
Okay, so si Vilma, pwede na mo palit og balay, Bel?
Pwede kayo.
How about in selling properties, sa realty selling side?
I would think na murag mas ni kalma na siya ron. I think even during the pandemic, prices hasn't really come down. Unlike the previous property crisis that we had, that you'd see fire sale of properties being unloaded, but it seems like right now people are holding on to their properties and waiting for the right prices. So stable siya.
Okay. Naka-mention naman ta ganina sa IT BPM sector, ambak na lang ta sa mga light industries. Nabatay mga
manufacturing.
Light industry,
Yes, manufacturing, and there's light industries would be this that are doing food processing, and also the mga textile, no. We've also all heard about the news kaning mga layoff po diri sa MEPS po because of the textile, so they're also quite badly affected. No, but I think the food sector food exports is doing well.
Unya, you belong to this industry, the heavy industry. What was the heavy industry in Cebu City?
There are actually our biggest export is actually mining from Carmen Copper.
Okay.
So I think Carmen Copper, even Chuneshi, Balamban, these are the heavy industries. We don't see it lang because we're in Cebu City, but they're operating in Balamban or they're operating there.
Wala tayo heavy Toledo industry within the city of Cebu, no?
Wala. Because more Cebu is more commercial, and as you mentioned earlier, it's a trading hub, really. So
the transportation sector is also another business field. How are we doing sa transportation sector?
we all know about the traffic problems in Cebu. So I've seen now that in the Bantal corridor, they've already started to do the no left turn. I think that's a good move. It will be very inconvenient for the people living along the corridor because they have to go U-turn at the underpass. But I think it's maybe we ask the residents along the area to bear with this inconvenience, but because it's for the good of the majority of our commuters, we'll have a more kind of flowing na traffic.
Yeah, no less than our mayor, Mike Rama, is focusing on the situation in the Bantal zone. How about the south? Is it an area of concern? Like at Natalio Bacalso area, for example?
In the few times I've been, like let's say, I think Natalio Bacalso is murag flowing raman pod siya because the people there have the option of using SRP. Ang ato lang diri sa SRP, ang ato lang hangyo sa mga, especially the owners of this mga trucks and mga vehicles, is to keep their, and also the drivers, is to drive carefully and maintain their vehicles in the properly, para as long as wala lang ma-aksidente dira o wala lang mga mahunong, okay ba siya.
Nag-isgot naman tag-traffic and mass transport. BRT will soon be realized, although after 20 years from idea was developed. Timely pa ba ang pag-abot ni BRT?
Better late than never.
But is there any better mass transit system not only Cebu City but probably Metro Cebu? I-propose man to before ang LRT and there was monorail but nothing has been realized. But what's my view nato sa business community?
It's really better to have a mass transit kaning train na system, no? Sayang kaning train before that. We already have a railroad actually coming north from Karkar going to pre-war, diba? So it's so sayang that we didn't have the foresight to keep that. But anyway,
the buses could not kill the trains.
Yes, sayang. But karon that we need it, we have to either do a underground system or something. But let's see. Let's wait for the BRT to be finished and see how that helps. No, you mentioned also earlier that the mayor also wanted the idea na use this as the main transit and para ang mga private cars doesn't have to come into the city, because we really have to think about the carrying capacity of the city, because once you have too many cars coming into in a small area, it will really be difficult for traffic.
Indeed, like there are moments katong kuan pa, like the after Christmas and after New Year, it took me only 10 minutes to come here, but normally 20 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes, no?
That's
traffic.
That's the price of our commerce, no? Because Cebu is also not just a business hub, but it's also a education center of excellence. So when these are the times when it's on vacation, so walay klase, so there's really fewer commuters going around.
No. Let's shift from traffic to power. And you're into heavy industry. I'm sure nga power is a very important factor sa inyong operation. Stable ra ba ta? And nagkamahal o nagkabarato ra?
Our power, because mainly we rely on coal, so the price of our power generation, no, is dependent on coal prices, and like when the Ukraine war started, that also caused the prices of coal to shoot up. But I guess now mas ni lower na siya, although not to even pre-pandemic levels. But it's also true for other commodities. It hasn't really come down to pre-pandemic, so it's a bit higher, but at least di na kayo siya sa taas. And related to coal, to power, is also our fuel costs. Yeah? So at least atong fuel cost, wala na tong 70, 80, hapit mo abot. So karon
nabutog na 25 pa gani.
So I think the new normal na to ron is na ni sa 60, murag na juda siya dira.
I would recall that Cebu Chamber raised an issue about the cost of power. It was even a causa that past President Jim Chu was championing.
Yes.
Have the concerns raised then been resolved?
Slowly. We've also intervened in mga ERCs na mga causes, no, because the ERC wanted to increase also some transmission or mga missionary charges. So we've also intervened in that, and they've reconsidered, so wala nila the increase. And there would be also some mga what they call kanang murag overcharges na ilang ibalik. So I think August last year there was the ERC also gave a rebate. If you notice, your August bill was lower. But this issue of power is not just limited to Cebu. It's really also our power mix. Being coal dependent, we are dependent on the cost of coal. So we really need to have a mix, like the hydro, solar, and even in the future even nuclear power. But that has to be done in a safe and manner.
Integrated naman ng atong grid. We are interconnected from Panay to Samar, no? So we are fed by the geothermal production of Leyte and in Tungonan, and probably also the solar fields in Negros, there is a San Carlos City, I noticed there, no? 2024, maya atong pagtanaw, but kanus akaha with the growth of business and industry, nabatay projection kung what year kaha nga critical ang level sa power supply nga ang atong consumption would overtake already the supply?
I saw an interview by SMC's Ramon Ang saying we will have adequate power right now because power consumption is dependent on how strong the economy is. So sa iyang own forecast at this growth of 3 to 4%, it will still be at going somewhere 2029. But as you know, it takes time to build a power plant.
Indeed.
So the people in the power sector have to also do their projections.
And what kind of power that will be generated from what kind of fuel should also be considered, no?
Renewables is, I think a lot of them are investing in renewables, and even SMC is also investing in what they call battery charging stations, because the problem with renewables, especially solar or even wind, when the sun and the wind is not there, you have no power. So you need these battery charging stations as a surplus para to take over. Because even though like what happened in the Western Visayas, there was I think a shortage of power. Although the grid is interconnected, the grid cannot also pass on the extra power to Western Visayas because there's very little extra power in Central Visayas or Southern Luzon. So they put I think each grid needs its own reserves also para to have power stability.
But at least by Ramon Ang's projection between now and 2029, di ta problema sa power, no?
Yes.
But I think you also believe nga karon is the right time to start also projecting for beyond 2030.
Yes.
Gikas Power President Kenneth Co aritas tubig. MCWD announced an increase in water for commercial and industrial users effective last December 1.
Yeah.
Nadayon pa ni, and unsa may implication ani sa business sector na to?
Dako jud to increase ang power, and we've also sent our position paper to ask MCWD to give the public a explanation on why they have to increase so much. No? So but I guess what MCWD is trying to do is increase nila ang commercial, but they've kept the residential rates para murag ang commercial mo subsidized.
Double the commercial, triple the industry.
So I think that's their strategy. No? So and so I guess businesses will have to be because if they increase so much, some of the businesses would rather probably invest in their own water filtration, water equipment, or also that's actually an opportunity. It's also a business opportunity. So instead of throwing away your wastewater, you can invest in recycling it, but you don't consume so much new water, and then recycle the water that you have.
Okay, there are two sides of the coin. Pila to nga gi-increase pag December 1? Would you know? Wa man to gibalita.
They were saying something like 100% man to ang koan akong nabalita ato.
Okay, I remember Bangod, the newspapers reported nga si MCWD was supposed to increase 60% last July, o another karong koan 2024 another 10%, so 70% na tanan. Although the last recall I had was wala pa'y approval from LUA. Would you know of any development?
Sorry, I don't also have.
If ever matuman na, unsa may epekto ani? Napa ba mo invest nato diri sa Cebu City?
Maybe not. Monang for water, I guess the one that will be hit would be the commercial establishments, especially the hotels that are within the city. But I guess like the big industrial plants who consume water, they're locating outside Cebu City and sourcing their own water.
But some are supplied by MCWD at certain murag unsa man ni murag liluan to San Fernando ba ni ang supply niya?
Yes, about that area.
Arita sa kuan katong last year I was with Mayor Mike Rama. I was taking that video when they met with industrialist Enrique Razon nga niingon siya nga build siya dam that would tap waters from the hinterlands nato din sa Cebu City nga just like how he did it in Wawa in Rizal. 3 years na niya na tukod ang kuan ang dam dito. And he even off the cuff, I understand yung kag off the cuff kana bang without study ba, but off the cuff he said he would sell it for only 20 pesos per cubic meter. Ang ilang condition, there's an off-take agreement with MCWD. Unsa may take ninyo ani President?
I guess MCWD would be very happy with that 20 pesos because I know also, or you also mentioned that MC is buying from Lusuran at 60 or
there's a Lusuran bulk water supplier. It's at 60 pesos. And by newspaper reports, anay mga desalination plant 75 gani. So kani 20 ra, probably 30.
So that's I think that's good for the Cebuanos. We would be very supportive of that move of. And
so would the chamber lobby for the city and MCWD to realize this project?
Yes, and then we just have to be careful with the environmental impact of the dam. So there would have to be a good study and a good preparations once the dam is started.
Kuna amang gani, no? But I understand.
And also the safety, as you know, downstream would also be affected.
I think in progress man siguro ang detailed study nga gi-conduct sa prime infrastructure, the infra arm of Razon's group. So,
but it's not only the cost, no. As a practical measure, surface water is a very good source. No, because even when we talked to the Singaporean ambassador, the first question they did, do you have a dam here in Cebu? So for them, or even in Hong Kong, they also have a dam as their water supply.
We have an existing dam, pero silted lang.
Well, I think Razon there was also a proposal to rehab the dam.
Now, let us shift to communications. Stable na ba mga services nilang Globe, Smart, Dito, Converge, Rise, whichever are the other providers nga? Competitive na bang atong internet speed in Cebu City?
Internet speed, I guess, is competitive. We have the BPOs, and one of the bright the good things they said during the audit, they had no interruptions of the lines. No? So that's one thing very good sa ato ang kuan. Because some of the lines are also underground. So I think that's one area to improve. And we also experienced a problem during audit that the cell towers without power, we had no signal. So I think the telcos are also, I think they're also selling their towers to third party na, di ba? And so I guess they should be more prepared now with their backup generator to have power if there's in case interruption. Underground cabling would be something I would, not only for our telcos but even for our power and water utilities, this common infrastructure. There's a lot of work that needs to be done para this can be integrated. It needs a lot of planning and a lot of cooperation, like in Mubuslot, asa moagi, because having an underground system will be more resilient rather than having our
spaghetti wires
overhead.
Okay, arita sa koan kaning last November, a year ago, na groundbreaking man to ang CCLEC, no? The Cebu Cordova Exchange Link Corporation for a Guadalupe Ramp. 1 year now, wa pa hinuon ma-realize. Probably the studies are still in progress. Unsa may take na to ana sa chamber?
Well, if you've experienced going to CCLEX, you have to go through from Virama. You have to turn right and go under the flyover to access the bridge. No? And so having a Guadalupe ramp would, I think, increase the convenience of the commuters going using the CCLEX ramp. So
especially from the center, no?
Yes, yes. So and that would also ease the traffic sa Bacalso, because instead of all these cars going to Bacalso, they can already go directly up to the both ways, no? So
pero may ba ni mag-gridlock, nahimo ning kanang murag choke point ning sa ilawom sa flyover sa Mambaling with a lot of vehicles turning left towards SRP. Probably many of them would proceed to CCLEX.
And we've also have a lot of people living in Mactan coming to work in Cebu. So that would also help them, because instead of having to, when they come down, they have to make a U-turn dito sa Il Corso Dapit. So with that, they can already come down to Virama and be in the city already. And that.
Okay, arita sa kuan katong just 2 weeks ago, I think, na groundbreaking to sila Mayor Mike Rama with the developer of Monterrasas de Cebu. Nga ilang i-expand from Banawa, in Banawa actually, no, from Paseo man siguro to hangtod sa Esquina Birama. And this would connect to the
UP similar gawas, no, or Ecotech somewhere,
which is kaning segment sa kuani sa DPWH. Ang wala pa lang ang gikan sa SRP through Punta Tisa Labangon nga mo connect sa project nga gibuhat through PPP by Monterrasas de Cebu. How do you look at this concept nga gi-propose ni Mayor Mike Rama?
We do need these alternative roads, no, karon na, because once ang kaning imong Banawa to Capitol is we've experienced the traffic there, so this can help decongest that the Banawa to Capitol na road.
Di na tamuagi pa og City Center, Escario, and even Natalio, no?
So coming out from Ecotech, you'll be already going to IT Park without having to pass through Ayala.
Okay. Naapod tayo dako kay nga infrastructure project sa DPWH kaning Naga to Danao nga Metro Cebu Expressway, and a significant part of this would cut through the hinterlands of Cebu City. Kumusta man ang atong may epekto ani nato?
budgetary jud ang problem diri, no? With, the PWH head had said na they've requested for the budget, but no, trickles lang ang mahatag ron sa kuan from the national government. So PPP is also one of the ways to expedite this project. So I guess there are already investors, or even I think even CCLX, I've heard, is also interested.
Yeah, the mother company, the Metro Pacific Tollway
MPIS,
Corporation,
correct.
2 billion man gani ito nga segment nga moagi sa kuan Cebu City. But I don't know kung what ba if there was a deal done already.
Yeah, we haven't heard, but I've also heard that the PPP na mga rules have also been streamlined. So we hope to see more of these PPP projects coming online.
Now, talking about PPP, business, ang pursuit nato din sa Dakbayan sa Sugbo is to realize the people's aspirations for a Singapore-like Cebu City, this time with Melbourne features. Does this augur well with our business community?
Yes, I've also, everyone was not people have been to Singapore and Melbourne, and you can see the difference, and it's good to have some aspiration, something aspirational, no? So I'm sure there are a lot of critics moingon na kalayo ka na but it's good to have these aspirations, because really the lifestyle there in Melbourne is so much kanang less hassle, less stressful when you have something of a good kaning traffic network nila, the way they build their road networks and mass transit, so that people coming from the suburbs going inside the city do not have to bring their cars inside. And they've also made Melbourne a very walkable city because of the mass transit within.
Gani gi-share pud yun ni Mayor Mike Rama gahapon, or was it the other day, Bill, nga ang mga nagdag out from the outskirts of Melbourne, kutob na sila sa suburb, then they take the tram into the into the city center.
And that's less pollution, no? When you have less cars going into the city.
Yes. Nindot ko na dito kay walay mga traffic enforcer.
So we hope that our Cebuanos can also be as disciplined. Kasi self-discipline kayo, sayo wala ang police enforcer mo, muliko magkalit.
Oo na, moribantayan. President Ken, 2 weeks na lang, Pete Senior, magsinulog na ta. Is this an annual event being awaited for sa atong mga magpapatigayon sa Dakbayan sa Sugbo?
Yes, of course. Kaning fiestas nato sa Santo Niño is also one of our biggest highlights, no? Not only from a faith point of view, but also even from a business perspective, because this draws a lot of tourists, both domestic and foreign, to our city. And it's a time for Cebuanos to showcase the best that we have for our visitors, and including especially kating mga balikbayans nato. I think that's also one of the highlights, that they come for Christmas and they extend their stay up to the Sinulog.
Sa inyo pagtanaw, maayo ba nga tuan na ta sa SRP nag-conduct sa atong grand parade sa Sinulog rather than in the city center?
Well, currently in the city center, you have the BRT project being done, no? So it's medyo a bit inconvenient po diri sa city at this time, and having it in SRP, I think just needs a better planning, because we had it last year, and I'm sure there were also some positive and negative comments, and I think the organizers have taken this into consideration in their preparations.
Is there anything that the chamber would want nga ipaabot sa mga organizers to consider during the conduct of the Sinulog?
I think it's really the main issue was traffic and the accessibility. So because you're closing a major portion of SRP, and we need to have because I think what people do, they don't just stay in SRP. So you need a way to go to SRP and a way to come out, because people also go out to the bars and other places after when they, because maglisod if you stay the whole day dito sa SRP po. So throughout the day, you need a network of a means of
Probably
transportation.
siguro provide baka ang city tanan ng mga buses, no? Fleet of buses i-provide, no?
Yeah, and also asa man designated nimo na parking areas for those na who do not rely on public transport, kung asa man sila kutob. But I guess that's also you have to program that in advance because I'm sure this area will be limited.
There was a suggestion ni Mayor kagahapon sa mga car owners, especially those who live in condos or subdivisions, nga mag-carpool para gamay rang mga sakyanan mo ani sa city.
Yes, that would be very that would help ease the traffic.
So President Kenneth Co, it has been a wonderful discussion that we have this morning. Naba kay mga parting shots sa atong mga nag-viewers. Review po unya pohon sa atong recorded nga live shot sa YouTube ug sa Facebook. Would you have a message for them, President Ken?
Yes, to all our viewers, I would like to say that 2024 presents good opportunities, but it may also have some challenges, but these challenges are not insurmountable. So let's all do our best to help our city be one of the best in the world. Yeah.
Okay. On that note, we conclude our maiden cast sa atong programa nga Patigayon Sugbo that would highlight business, industry, investments, entrepreneurship, and whatever else in relation to economy here in our city of Cebu. Daghan kayong salamat, President Ken, for gracing our maiden cast.
Yes.
And to everyone, good morning. Thank you. See you next week.
Okay. See you, everyone.